Hello everyone, welcome to today's webinar on Resco Mobile Sales. My name is Jakub Svrcek. I am responsible for Resco's activities within Southern and Eastern European region. And today I would like to introduce you to the most popular solution of Resco that many of you might already heard of. Today's webinar will be recorded, so you will be able to get access to it probably the next week. Everyone is currently in the listen-only mode, but you are able to ask questions using the GoToWebinar tool. So please write them in, and we will be having a look at them at the end of the presentation today. Other thing I would like to mention is that this event is reoccurring every week on the same day and at the same time. And every webinar each week has a different topic. So this is part of our new communication strategy or new initiative that we have introduced at Resco to keep you in the loop on what's happening, on what and how our solutions can be used to benefit your customers. The webinar next week will be dealing with wearables, and the webinar the week after will be dealing with all the mobile applications available for Dynamics 365 and how you can use them towards your advantage. You can at the moment see a list of your sales reps on your screen. So we have a different sales rep for each area. I believe you are already in touch. So if there will be any questions also after the webinar, you can direct them at me or directly to your sales representative. So let's start with the webinar. Today's presentation. Let me share the screen. Today's presentation will be on mobile sales, as I mentioned. So I would like to first of all introduce you a little bit very briefly to Resco. Then we will have a look at the solution overview, then the demonstration of the application, a couple of configuration examples, and as I already mentioned, there will be space for your questions. So let's start with a brief company introduction. Those of you who are already familiar with Resco probably know that we have been on the market for more than 20 years now. And since the very beginning of our existence, which is the year 1999, we have been focusing on developing mobile solutions. Our headquarters are located in Bratislava, Slovakia. Our branch office is also in Boston, USA. So this is to get closer to our partners and customers within the Northern America region. We currently offer our solutions in more than 100 countries across the globe, and we have managed to close over 2,500 deals in those years of activity. So the total sum of the current active mobile users is over 250,000 licensed users. We cooperate with partners who help us deploy the solutions for the end customers, and that's how we help them benefit from our solutions. At the moment, as I said, we have quite a big range of customers. These are companies from various walks of life, various sizes. First of all, it's the smaller and middle-sized businesses, and then also big enterprise clients such as Bayer Crop Science, Danone, Royal Canin, AutoZone, or Bridgestone that you might be familiar with. Our customers come from a wide range of industries. The most popular one, or where our application is most often used, is the manufacturing, retail and wholesale, health, technical and security services, energy, agriculture, etc. This is really great to have such a large user base because we are able to generate feedback from many different customers, mobile users, and keep introducing features that our customers are actually asking for. So now let's have a look at today's main point of focus, and that's Resco Mobile Sales solution. This solution is actually composed of two components. The first one is our mobile application, Resco Mobile CRM, and the second one is the Resco Woodford tool, which is used for customization or configuration of the mobile application Resco Mobile CRM. So what does this solution actually do? First and foremost is the solution focused on streamlining your Salesforce processes, and it's designed for anyone who is out there visiting clients, taking some feedback from these clients, and managing their sales activities. So it's a solution that allows you to access your CRM data and work with the data even in the offline mode. You're able to manage your leads, your opportunities, your quotes. You can create and sign orders, generate invoices in the form of a PDF report, let's say, manage your cases. So there's plenty of functionality that makes your life as a salesperson in the field much easier. And how does it actually look like? So the solution, the mobile application, Resco Mobile CRM, is seamlessly integrated with the Dynamics CRM backend, also with Salesforce backend. And this application uses no middleware. It's a very fast synchronization process. And the first time you run Resco Mobile CRM, you simply enter your credentials and connect directly to your CRM database, having instant access to the data. As for Woodford, it's directly embedded into your Dynamics CRM, so you are able to find it in your settings part of Dynamics CRM, and it allows you to actually configure the Resco Mobile CRM application. You can have many different mobile projects there for different user groups, and these projects are stored within the Dynamics CRM backend database. We also provide API for integration with third-party solutions. So if you are actually using SAP, Oracle, or some custom-made business solutions in your company internally, you are able to use our API and connect Resco to integrate it and work together. We actually offer you an opportunity to use Woodford and create different mobile projects for different security roles or different user groups. So you can have different projects for your sales representatives out there in the field. You can have a project for your sales manager, for your CEO, each of them having slightly different access to the CRM data, access to different functionality. And it's important to mention here that the UI adapts automatically. So no matter what device they are using, the UI will always offer the right screen format, the aspect ratio, and no matter which type of device you run it on, whether it's phone, tablet, or on your browser, you will have the right screen resolution and format set by default by Resco Mobile CRM. When it comes to supported devices, we basically offer support for all of the currently available major platforms. So it's iOS devices, Windows devices, Android devices, and are actually the mobile app you use is configured just once, and then the same configuration is used for all of your platforms and all of your devices. So the deployment of different customizations is very fast. So why customers actually choose Resco? There are 4 major reasons that we have identified, and these are the true offline mobility, the configurability of the solution, the security, and availability of features. So let's first have a look at the true offline mobility for sales. Why we call it true offline is the fact that with Resco, using a mobile device, you're basically able to run all of the sales processes that you need to, just like you were doing it in the CRM backend. So basically you have the whole functionality, the whole entity access available in the mobile device. You can work all day or all week without having any internet access. You can visit your clients, collect all of this data, and at the end of the week, you simply synchronize with your backend where all the data is transferred. So this is very flexible. A nice use case is our case with United Nations, where we are actually deploying our solution in more than 20 countries across the globe, and the solution is being used for refugee registration, people who are escaping from the war zones, and we have this solution deployed among many different users who are able to bring back down the time from 15 minutes per registration to 5 minutes per registration just with Resco. So it's really important improvement, imagining you are registering thousands of refugees every day. The other important reason why customers go with Resco is configuration or the flexibility of the solution. So as I mentioned, we give Woodford, our customization tool, at your disposal. With this tool, you're able to define specific entity access for your mobile users. You can create different mobile projects, define security roles. You can define specific security policies. you're able to manage your mobile users, your mobile devices. So it's not just the configuration tool, but also a tool that allows you to manage the users in the field. The third point is the security. So we have our Resco Mobile CRM application as well as our Resco Cloud CRM backend certified by NCC Group, which is an independent UK-based global expert in cybersecurity and risk mitigation. So our solution is truly risk-proof, and I think the best evidence of these security measures is the fact that the solution is being used by numerous banks and insurance companies across the globe. So these are companies sharing a lot of confidential data, and they trust us with their data. So you can imagine how it is. The most popular features are, I would say, the fourth main area or main reason why customers go with Resco. And you can see some of the most important ones, especially the offline maps, the mobile reports, route planner, signature capturing, integration with SharePoint, Dropbox, Google Drive, Exchange or Gmail. So all of these features actually make your life or life of a sales personnel much simpler. So how can your sales team actually benefit having all of these features at hand? First of all, they can spend much less time doing their admin work and focus more on doing sales. They can solve customers' problems much faster. They can respond to new leads or to new requirements much faster. And at the end of the day, they will shorten their sales cycle. They will increase the data quality in the CRM, and most importantly, this can lead to increased revenue. On average, our customers using Resco Mobile Sales can save 1 to 2 hours per day on every salesperson out there in the field. So these people can focus more on actually closing deals and being in touch with their customers instead of putting data into the CRM. So let's actually have a look at the demonstration. Let me just quickly change the screen. Just a moment. Great. Now you should be able to see the screen of our mobile application. The current demonstration that I will be showing you will be done on the iPad device because this is one of the most common devices used out there at the moment by our customers. You can use this application with any other type of device, as I mentioned, so it's cross-platform supported, and if your company is using Android devices, there's no problem. Windows devices, no problem. The first time you actually try to use the application, you will have to download Resco Mobile CRM from any of the app stores, and when you first run it after the download, following screen will pop up. This one. So you will be asked to either start using the demo data or connect directly to your existing CRM organization. So at the moment I'm connecting to our demonstration instance, but here you would put in your own information, your own CRM credentials. After the synchronization will be performed, and once that is done, you will get instant access to your CRM data in your mobile device. So the first screen you start with is the dashboard. In the dashboard, as you can see, you are able to follow your KPIs. By simply double tapping on the upper panel, you can bring the dashboard to the full screen view, so you are not distracted by other information available there. And at the moment, we are able to see orders and the graphical illustration of the values from each of the customers, illustration of the opportunities in the lower left corner, and then a list view of leads in the upper right corner. And we have also added an iframe into the dashboard. So if you are connected to the internet, you can actually have access to some online data. If I want to have a closer look at any of those parts, I can simply double tap on the upper panel. For example, let's bring up orders. So I double tap on the orders panel, and here I can see it in a full screen view. I can change by simply clicking on it. I can change the type of the graph, and it automatically changes it based on the setting, as you can see here. And just by going back, I exit this mode and I see the original view again. This dashboard is fully customizable using Woodford, so depends on what your mobile salespeople out there want to achieve. They can have different feature access here. The second most important feature would be the calendar. So in my calendar, I'm actually able to see appointments for the day. I can show them in a weekly view just by tapping on the buttons in the lower lower middle corner. And then I can also switch into monthly view, where I'm able to see all of my appointments or all of my activities in the whole month. So let's have a look at the daily agenda. I see that there is a visit at specialty sports store planned for me. So let's open it up just by clicking on it. When I open it up, I can see that there is a start time, end time, and the subject defined. I can see the priority of the meeting, and I can see who organized it, who is required. So I can, for example, take some notes if I'm at that meeting, and I can use that information and store it in the CRM data, in my CRM database. I can also see my entities such as accounts, contacts, leads, and appointments on a map. So this is a map that I'm currently showing in the offline mode. Map is platform specific. So at the moment we are using Apple Maps. In case you would be using the Android device, you would be connecting to Google Maps. And in case of Windows devices, you will be using Windows Maps, Bing Maps. So at the moment, we have defined 4 types of entities that should be shown on the map, but I can very easily click on those that I don't want to have there. Let's see if I just want to have the accounts available. So I simply deselect contacts, leads, and appointments, and just the accounts will appear on the map. By clicking on these little colored pins, I can very easily access additional information on those accounts, and by clicking on the little information icon, I can actually access much more focused screen where I see all of the additional information, all of the associated entities in a form view. So I can see my, in the left side here, I can see the account name, the email, the main phone, and the address. In the upper part, I can see my contacts, activities, and as I go down, I can also see my account on the map, some opportunities associated with this entity, with this record, some quotes associated with this record, etc., etc. And I can also add notes if I want to. I have some actions that I can perform with this account actually. So I click on in the upper right corner, and I'm able to, for example, update the address, update GPS. I'm able to email a link to this particular contact associated with this account, and I can also click navigate for detailed navigation to this particular area. So let's go back to my map view. I have another option to use the map, and that's for route planning. I just click on the my route information in the left part of the screen, and I get instant access to my route for the day. So these are the exact appointments. I can see there are 5 appointments here that I have seen in my calendar. So let's go back to the calendar in a daily view. I can see these 5 appointments here. They are right there on the map. And I can use this tool to navigate to my next destination. I can see my times scheduled for each of those visits in the right part of the screen. And if I want to, I can actually reschedule some of them. So let's say I want to move visit at Wide World Importers to a different time. So I simply tap on it and I move it up. Just a moment. Let's try this different one. Yeah, and I have moved one of them, so I see that there is a little red question mark that appeared, the exclamation mark. This means that due to the rescheduling of one of those meetings, there is some time discorrelation, and I will not make it on time to my next appointment. So I just click on this little sign, and it will automatically define the new time for my last visit, so that I'm able to actually get there on time. So this is actually the navigation feature that you can use to get to your visits, and you can also use the external navigation app if you want to, just by clicking on the button in the upper right corner next to the save button, this one. I'm actually able to go to my default navigation app and see my next destination in more detail, also calculating with local traffic information. So let's go back to the mobile CRM app just by tapping on the arrow in the upper left corner, and we are back in the application. Now let's have a look at other entities that I can access here. First of all, let's discard these changes. First of all, it's the accounts. So I have a list view of all of my accounts. I can have a look at the bike universe, let's say. So again, I have the same access to the additional information and associated entities, just like I had from the offline map directly. And I can see that there are a couple of contacts associated with this account. For example, it's Alan Waxman. I see that Alan has some email set and business phone number set. So if I want to, I can call him directly from the app. I can make that call. Well, I don't have it set, but if I make a call, a new activity form will automatically pop up. So I can put a subject, call with Alan, and I can save this call so it's stored within my activities. And I can add in some description of what we discussed, new deal, let's say. So I save this activity and it's automatically stored in my CRM. If I want to add some notes or add some pictures, I can do it. So let's say I want to take a picture that I want to make part of this. So let's say we have discussed deal for new windows. So I can take a picture of the window that they would like to have replaced. I use that photo, and now it automatically becomes a part of that activity record. I can also convert it to opportunity, to case, complete it, or perform some additional actions, let's say complete it, and now it's stored in the mobile application. All right, so let's go back to our home screen, which is the one that we can see right now. So I can also see my contacts in a list view. Again, I can access information on those contacts. I can make a call, I can send an email directly from the mobile application. So as you can see, you do not need to switch to a different mobile client. You can actually send an email directly from the application. This actually saves a lot of time. So you can stay in the same UI and keep with your work. And then in the left side in my home screen, I have actually added an entity group called sales, where I keep access to all of my sales entities. So let's start with the first one, which is the leads entity. I can see all of my leads. As you can see here, each of those leads has a slightly different icon available on the site. So let's have a look at the Aaron Con. I can see that the rating here is set to hot. Yeah, so the icon is of a burning fire. I can see Adrian Dumitrascu. Yeah, this one is set to cold. So I can see it's also a different type of the icon. Or we have one that is warm, and that's the different rating, again, a different icon. All of these icons can be predefined based on your needs. So this is fully customizable. Also, all of the list views, all of the forms that you open right now, all of the associated information that is available, everything is fully customizable using our configuration tool Woodford. So just so you know, everything can be changed. You can also add color coding, just like we have added in the opportunities list view here. So this is something that can be all defined. So what can you do actually about the lead? Let's say I have a lead, Greg Johnson, and I want to qualify it. So I just click in the upper right panel and a menu will pop up. So I can qualify that lead, I can disqualify that lead, or I can delete it. Yeah, I also have options to navigate to that lead, to that location, update the address, update GPS. So there are a couple of activities I can perform directly on that lead in my mobile application. So now let's have a look at the opportunities entity. We see that, for example, here we have added the color coding. So the orange color stands for warm opportunity, as you can see. So if I click on it, I see this warm signalization up here, down here. And I can also see associated products to that particular opportunity. And I can have a look at those products. And I also see associated quote to that opportunity. I can open it just by clicking on it. And I see specifics of that quote. I can see products that are included in there. And I can quickly navigate where I need to. So as you can see, the other color themes are defined based on the type of the opportunity. So this one, red, 25 mountain bikes, is hot. So let's click on that hot one. And I see that the signalization of the rating is different. And the same goes for the cracker box, 25 road bikes next quarter. It's cold one. I can see it's a different rating, it's a different color theme. This is all done in Woodford using rules. So the rules configurator actually allows you to define specific behavior or color coding for the mobile application. Now let's have a look at quotes. So in quotes, I again have a list view. Oh, one more thing I wanted to show you. In opportunities, for example, we have also predefined a graphical interpretation or a graphical illustration of the total value. So let's go to Optis. You click on the button in the upper left corner. You can see up here, and you switch to graphical interpretation of the data. So in this particular case, I can see the total value of hot, warm, and cold opportunities in my pipeline. This can come in very handy if you're out there traveling and you want to see how are you performing, how are your customers performing. So let's have a look at the quotes. Again, list view, I click on the quote, I can see some products associated with that quote. Let's say I have had a meeting with Abraham Lincoln here from this company, and I want to change this quote. For example, I want to add a product. So let's click on this plus button on the product in the upper right corner. And if I have a number of different products that can really take a lot of time to search through, I can actually add a new product using a barcode scanner. So let's say I want to order another product of specific type, and I click on the barcode button in the upper right corner here, and I can simply scan a barcode. Once I do this, the application will automatically scan for products with that specific barcode and add it to my product list, as you can see here. So this one particularly goes for full finger glove of the size S, and it has been added. So now it's added. I can go back, I can see it has been added, I can save that quote, and it's stored in my CRM, mobile CRM. So I can also, of course, perform typical functionalities or typical actions on the quote. I can activate it, and once it's active, I can close the quote as one. For example, if the money has hit the account, I can add some associated opportunity entity and close the form. So this was for the quotes. Now let's have a look at the orders. The orders entity also gives me access to the list view of CRM records. So I can click on any of those CRM records. I see again associated products, associated invoices. If I want to open up an invoice, let's see this one, I can see it's a hitch rack order. I can simply click on it, and I see the products that were added to that invoice, and I can also run a report that will generate the invoice in a PDF. So let's click on Run Report. It will take some time to generate the invoice because it gathers a lot of data from the CRM database. So let's give it a few moments while it runs. These reports are currently configurable using our mobile reports builder, which is part of the solution, and it used to be in Woodford as well. And in that mobile report builder, you can define headers, footers, specific information types that you want to have available in your mobile form, maybe an invoice, like in this case. So you will see that we have predefined specific information access for the data to be filled in or pre-filled in into the invoice. Let me just check what's happening. Looks like it's taking a little bit more time. Okay, here it comes. So you can see this is a predefined invoice. I can see the total amount of the invoice. I can see the shipping information. I'm able to see all of the products that have been added, the quantities, the price, the subtotal. So this is something you can then send over to your customer or to your partner. So this is really simple way how you can get reports straight out of the app without having the need to go to your back office to send some invoices. You can avoid that time loss, and you can use it directly from the application. So invoices are also accessible in the list view, but I think there is no need to spend additional time on it. And then you also have access to your activities. So in activities, I am able to see at the current view the list view of my appointments. if I click on the upper right, on the upper panel, just below activities, I can define what type of view I want to have there. So let's say I don't want to see just my appointments, but I also want to see my emails, or let's say my inbox emails. Let's change the view. I automatically get access to my emails because I have the integration with Exchange established, or I can have access to, for example, my phone calls. I was just called with Ellen recently, or let's say to all of my open activities, just my activities. And I can see all of them in list view again. There's a number of them. So I can very easily scroll through and have, just by tapping on them, have quick access to the additional information. So let's go back to the home screen. We have pretty much seen the sales process of a typical sales personnel in the field, and we have seen what they can do. Now, a very, very useful feature is to get the app integrated with your Exchange, so you get access to your emails. It's been done for this application, so I can see my inbox directly up here. So if I click on my Exchange folder, I have enabled inbox and sent items to be seen, and I can see all of my emails. I can very, very quickly have a look at any of them. I can see that there is some email that I received recently. I can see from who it was sent to me and the subject of the email. And this is really, really handy because I don't have to switch between the applications, and I can manage my emails directly in the application. And I can also see my sent items, so I can see that there was some item recently sent. I can have a quick look at it. I can reply, I can convert it to case if I want to, or to lead if there is some information suggesting that this should be done. So there are a couple of actions that I can perform on each of those emails. Now let's have a quick look at the setup. Let's have a click on the setup icon here. Now I'm able to see a couple of configuration options that the application allows me to perform. First of all, I can see that Exchange integration. Yeah, so if I click on the Exchange, which is the fourth one from the top, I'm able to see the configuration screen for the Exchange, and I can define whether I want to have my calendar linked, so I can also have my Outlook meetings in my calendar. I can see whether any contacts should be linked, and I can define what types of email folders I want to show. Yeah, so at the moment I have just the inbox and sent items enabled, but I can add my drafts, my archive, whatever I want into the mobile application. Besides that, as you can see, you can define the integration with your Google, with SharePoint, with Dropbox, with OneDrive, DocuSign, etc. You can define types of the synchronization. So whether it's the synchronization on start, on change, or both, or whether it's manual or automatic, or when you are connected to Wi-Fi only. So there are a couple of settings you can play around with to make the app behave the way you like it to. You can of course save passwords, so you don't have to log in every time or put in your credentials every time you run the application. And then you have some specific settings when it comes to the appearance, to your dashboard, to some charts, and of course some settings for your reminders, invitations, calendar, contacts. So there's a number of functionalities you can define directly in the mobile application without going to the Woodford. And then there are some advanced features, so which comes in really handy is the maximum attachment size right here. You can see that it's predefined to, I think, 1 megabyte at the moment, and 10 megabytes at the moment. And this is really handy because your device has probably limited capacity, limited memory, and therefore you can define some sync filters and some max attachment sizes to make it really useful and to make it behave fast and without any delay in synchronization. And you can also define maximum records that you are syncing. So this is basically what the app offers. Sometimes it happens that there is a problem with the application after a new release. It might sometimes happen. In such case, we require users to click on the About button and simply send us a log, which is in the upper right corner right here. And this log can be sent either to the local CRM administrator at the customer side, or to our partner who is actually helping them resolve the case, or directly to Resco. So this is actually what you already are probably familiar with, because our support always requests these information to be sent to us when we are resolving some cases. So this is basically the standard sales functionality that the application offers that you have at your disposal. But now I would like to switch back to the presentation and show you a couple of interesting configuration examples. So let me just close the screen here and go back. So right here, we have actually prepared a couple of screenshots from the mobile application and how it can be customized. So we have many branding possibilities. You can define your color coding, your custom fonts, logos, custom pictures to really make the application appealing for the users. And you can have it branded with your own company logo, company information. So this is all available. And you can also design custom forms with HTML, just like in this case. The other example is that you can actually replace the whole user interface with custom HTML. So this was the application we have prepared, I think 2 years ago for our conference, and the attendees were able to book their session, their discussion over a burger with one of our representatives. So this is something that can be also done to make the application way more neat or good looking. Besides that, we have introduced some new improvements to the UI that we have introduced during Resco Next conference last month. So here you can see the design of the new home form that should also make the application a little bit more appealing. And you can also see optional initial screen called Today that will actually make your app look more modern, more neat. So this is something that you can actually design in order to make the application more popular or more appealing to your end users. And now we will have a space for your questions. So let me just check the ones that we have received. So one of the questions that we have received is whether I can actually send the mobile report to a customer directly from the application itself. So yes, this is something that we can do. So once you generate the mobile report, it can be sent directly to your customer. Let's say it can be sent in the form of an email. Or it can be also printed out if required. Another question here was how do you actually define the user interface of the application? So we have seen a couple of examples. First of all, you can define it using Woodford. You can define specific forms, specific views. I can actually show you something really quickly here. So just give me a brief moment. And at the moment, we are connecting to Woodford. This is the tool that you can use to customize the application. Let's open up the mobile project that we were just showing you. It takes a little while, but yeah, now it's opened. So this is the tool, the Woodford tool, that you can use to actually customize the user interface. So in my home screen here, I can define specific entity access. Yeah, so this is the access to specific entities that I want my users to be able to see. This is a special group that we have predefined. So it basically reflects exactly what was in the mobile application. And I can, if I want to define some form or a view for any of those entities, I can simply go to the account, click on the entity. I have now gained access to my default form. So on my form, let's wait until it opens up. Okay, yeah, now we have it. So on my form, I'm actually able to define specifically what types of fields should be available. I can define sections for each of those forms. So I can see that there are different fields in each section available. And I can also add my own logic if I want to. Yeah? So there is logic you can add just by clicking on the onload button or on save or on change. This is where you define the specific behavior for that particular form. Let's go back. I'll also show you where you can define your view. So let's click on the account, double click on the account entity again, and we can see that there are public views. Yeah, public views that allow you to see the data in the list view. So let's open it up. And in my public view, I can define what should I be able to see in the list. Yeah, so you are able to define what type of data should be shown in that list view, whether there is some address field required, all of that. You can define specific fonts, specific height, width of those fonts. So this is everything that you can do using the Woodford tool. One more note regarding to UI. The first screens that you have seen actually, I think these were these ones. Let's go back. These are a little bit older, these two, but as you have seen, we are currently really heavily involved with redesigning the UI, adding some new, more modern looking possibilities. So these two screens are an idea of where we are trying to get to, what you can expect from our mobile application in the upcoming period. Okay, another question that we've had here was whether there are any real examples of success of mobile sales or some case studies. Yeah, so we actually do have a variety of customers and the number of case studies that we can share with you. They are available on our website, official website, in the case study section. So you can actually have a look at them. You can have a better idea of how we helped particular clients, how much time, for example, our solution helped them to save, and what were the benefits that they reaped from having Resco used internally. Okay, another question. Let me have a check. Okay, I think this is pretty much what we have covered. There is nothing else I can see at the moment. Yeah, so there are no more questions at the moment. But if any questions come up, you can send them directly to me or to your sales representative, as you can see on this final screen. So these will be answered afterwards via email, and we will be happy to serve you afterwards. So thank you very much for your attention. Sorry for the little bit of technical issues that we had in the beginning, but I hope you found this webinar enriching. If it raised any questions, let us know. We'll be able to really help you out, and we'll be also able to support you in the future. Thanks a lot for attending. Thanks a lot for our cooperation, and have a great rest of the day.